노래 틀어놓은 거야 따로 여기다? 이제 지금 유튜브 틀어요? 유튜브 틀었어요? I should turn the volume down, by the way, in case we get that live. Oh, Instagram.
GFM. EGFM.
What's GFN stand for?
Gwangju Foreign Network.
Oh,
Gwangju Foreign Language Network.
Oh yes, but
Foreign
that would be
language network.
GFLN.
oh.
That's cool. The L is silent in the GFM.
Should ask you.
GF
It's the Gwangju Foreign Network.
Exactly.
We should ask that question to our listeners one day. Do they know the meaning of GFM?
Yeah, like
Probably they won't know because everyone knows it in Korean. Gwangju Young Gwangju. And it's totally different in Korean.
Mikhail Arshinsky.
Polish?
Yes.
That's
수준 높은 문화유산을 보유하고
Mikhail
있는 월출산
Arshinsky.
국립공원. 한반도의 기온이 응집된
Heinz
영화의
Peter
대표적
Awards.
관광 명소인 기찬랜드.
Yes.
국내에서는
Do you
최초로
remember the guy from May 18th?
영화의
The German reporter who went around and filmed?
Ah, yes.
볼거리가
They had a awards in his name. He passed away.
really?
Yeah.
And then basically this is like the inaugural, the first year they're having awards, this award given out under his name.
In Gwangju?
No, around the world.
Oh, it's a worldwide.
It's for journalists, news people. And apparently, Yoo Young-gil was a former late video journalist of CBS Seoul who was the first, apparently, to document anything happening in Gwangju, but could not be played around the world because of, like,
Yeah.
copyright.
Next year, Kayla will be awarded.
Worst singer ever goes to Kayla! Yahoo! Asa, I'm in the money. The world's smallest score goes to Kayla. Woo!
Guys, applause. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just cutting them out. Cut them out.
Oh, okay.
They are not supportive at all
Okay.
of my dreams of driving the world's smallest car. They just mock me. They mock me. Oh, foul up pile.
Oh,
Middle?
no,
I
it's
think
not
it's
me.
Kyokta.
It's from the news.
It's from
You took the photo?
No, it's from the news.
I really.
Really?
Yeah.
Are we ready?
I'm an overachiever.
You don't know about Chica?
Look at this. I have 2 pages of script.
Us too.
Really?
Are you guys ready? We're live in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So, happy New Year.
It's a new show.
Here is your daily quiz reminder, listeners. You still have a chance to answer our quiz questions. Send those answers in to pound 9870 for your chance to win one of our awesome prizes. Now, as we talked about earlier, the inaugural winner of the Heinz Peter Awards has been announced, and it is a Belarus video journalist that has been awarded the inaugural Heinz Peter Award that commemorates the late German reporter, the first Western journalist to send out footage of May 18. Now, this award goes to Mikhail Arshinsky, who's a cameraman for a Polish registered satellite broadcaster named Belsat, and he is the first recipient of the grand prize, the World at a Crossroads Award. 2 video journalists from Myanmar also won the award for news, and the award for features went to an Italian video journalist named Bruno Federico. The recipient of the May Gwangju Award, which is based on non-competitive selection, was Yoo Young-gil, the late former video journalist of CBS Seoul Bureau. Yoo was the first video journalist who reported on martial law forces being deployed on the Kunamro Street, Gwangju, on May 19th of 1980. After a thorough process of investigating and verifying related materials, such as the situation log of the Donggu office. The selection committee established that you was the first video journalist who covered and reported on May 18th and the situation on the Gunamro Street. It brings us to today's quiz question, which you remember, listeners, is an X or O, 동그라미 or X, quiz. So if it's true, send us a text message to pound 9870 as a 동그라미. If the following sentence is false, send us an X. The first journalist who covered and reported on May 18th overseas was actually a Korean. All right, if you know the answer to that, send us a text message right now, pound 9870. Keep in mind, short text messages cost you 51, longer text messages cost you 101. Sending in the right answer, you have a chance to win some prizes, which include a gift certificate to Bigdal Women's Hospital and a department store gift voucher sponsored by Medifil Center. Up next is part 3, where you and we answer the question, what are you doing? Let's meet together live on NodTube channel GFN. Keep it tuned here to GFN, 98.7 FM in Gwangju, 93.7 FM in Yasu.
Assume the music.
Throughout history, humans have been curious about the world around them. We are almost always doing, seeing, making, or thinking about something, and our curious nature leads us to ask our friends, family, neighbors, and acquaintances, what are you doing? Join us to find out. In the studio, I'm your host, Kayla Nichols, and welcome now to What Are You Doing? Ladies, gentlemen, what are you doing today?
Wow.
What are you doing?
I'm hosting a radio show. What about you, Frank? What are you
Being the
doing?
guests.
I'm being a guest on a radio show, Kayla. Thank you for asking.
Such a nice weather today.
Oh,
Did you
yes.
see
it's
the sky?
beautiful.
Yeah.
날씨 아주 좋아.
Oh.
It was a bit rainy in my area this morning, but
Oh, really?
on the drive here, I literally passed one street, and behind me was like kind of black clouds. In front of me was like 구름 없어.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
어디
was
갔어?
so beautiful.
우와, 시원하다, 바람. The
So
windows open.
basically, you live on the dark side of Gwangju.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Into the dark side.
That's a great conclusion.
Shh, don't tell everybody.
Okay,
Sorry, 비밀.
sorry.
I'm going to start with the 예쁜 아가씨 next to me today.
Oh,
있지?
who?
Elvis!
you?
No, I'm just kidding.
그래, 안녕하세요.
That's not very 여자 either. That's not very 여자 목소리.
Yeah, I can't do like a girl's voice.
Just a little higher. 안녕하세요, 여러분. 안녕하세요, 여러분. What? Check, check, check. If I was going to do a 안녕하세요, 여러분, that's my
Deeper.
남자. Deep, it doesn't go any deeper. Oh. 안녕하세요, 여러분. Oh, 아파요.
Yeah.
Look.
Hurt yourself.
I'm starting with E.G. today.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, I guess.
밥 먹었어?
Yes. With 미역국.
With Miyako.
Is it your birthday?
I was going to say, you don't
Yeah.
have any
Okay.
tests today, right?
No.
시험 없어요,
No,
맞아?
she have no birthday. I just love
그냥
미역국.
먹었어요?
Personally, yeah.
맛있어요?
My mom's miyeokguk is the best.
You know, before coming to Korea, I thought miyakguk was very not for my taste.
Mm.
And after giving birth 3 times, miyakguk was on the list of don't even bring it into my house. But now, 괜찮아요.
Oh,
now
okay.
지금 아니 2번 한 주? About twice a week.
Which
Oh,
is your
That's a
favorite
lot.
type of miyeokguk? Like,
소고기 miyakguk.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I find the 해물 miyakguk
Uh-huh.
be a bit
Like
slimy.
seafood. Ah.
You know, like the mushroom. Yes, okay, miyakguk is slimy in itself, but
But it's like more slimy,
yeah, it's
I
like
guess.
mushy slimy.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Okay,
I
소고기
feel you.
miyakguk 맛있어.
Mhm. What's so funny?
Don't even talk about it.
He doesn't like meat. 해물.
Any seafood?
I do
Oh.
recall that. I think we did a mukbang once where he had to eat. What was it?
we were
돼지고기
doing hung out.
and
Oh.
mussels.
That was like
돼지고기 mussels?
And it was like a sam. It was like a 3-in-1.
Oh, like a 보쌈.
Kimchi and the
삼합.
Yeah.
the kimchi and the 돼지고기 and the
홍어.
oh, was it honga or something? I thought it was mussel or
It's a
something.
steamy.
Yeah, the bad smelling thing.
Not stinky. I said stingy. Stingy
The best
thing.
way.
But it is
Ah,
kind of
sting
stinky
fish.
too.
Oh.
Right? Honga is a fragrant fish. We'll call it that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good for your health.
That's what they
It's supposed to
say.
be, yeah.
I think everyone says things are good for your health when they taste awful. Eat
That's
it.
true.
No, it's
Exactly.
good for your health. On there, shit on there. 그래, 엘비스 괜찮아요.
저는 오늘은 기분이 아주 좋습니다. 개강했는데 아직 그렇게 바쁘지 않아서 약간 예.
부럽네요.
부러워요.
네,
OT week is over now.
That's true. Now you're ooh, serious
Deep to
공부.
the study.
No, I'm not worried. I'm not him.
I don't even have OT. My classes have already started since last week, and I feel very good about it. Actually.
You're in your final, right?
It's
Final,
my final year.
Okay. And Elvis are also
Final semester.
Final semester.
This is like when you have to like knuckle down. You have to like get into it and not messing around.
Me.
하지 마세요.
He's already.
술
노력해보겠습니다.
그만해, 그만해. 파티ing 그만해, TV 그만해, 핸드폰 그만해, 그냥 공부해.
방송도 하죠.
No fun.
Where's my meme stick? stick 여러분. 없어.
없습니다.
Frank, how you feeling then? How you doing? 밥 먹었어요?
네, 오늘 사실 이상하게 아침 먹었어요. 오늘 아침에 원래 안 먹는데.
뭐 먹었어요? 미역국?
No, I had like a smoothie.
Ooh, that is what I've been drinking most mornings recently. But today I was a little late. 그래서 나는 초코빵 먹었어요. You know, like 빵하고 초코 hazelnut spread, and that's what my children like. I just made an extra one.
Yeah.
Nutella.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
One
good.
into each mouth. You, me, go. Don't have to be late.
yeah.
Listeners, in case you're wondering why we were talking about school so much and you're wondering what we're doing, we'll get into that in a moment. What Are You Doing meets listeners in multiple ways. When our voices and music come out on the radio, the show is being live streamed on NawTube. You can check out Channel GFN. Please come and join us every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11:30. And don't forget, click, subscribe. All the time, like and subscribe, right? To Channel GFN because you don't want to miss a thing.
매주 수요일 11시에서 12시 GFN이 라디오뿐 아니라 너튜브로도 여러분을 찾아갑니다. What are you doing? 이름하여
뭐하니?
우리가 뭐하는지 궁금하신 분들은 너튜브 검색창에 채널 GFN을 검색하셔서 지금 라이브 스트리밍을 확인하세요.
All right, so as I mentioned earlier, we talked a lot about school because here in Korea, it's the second week of September and school has officially been in for a week now.
Yep.
Back in Canada, at least in the province of Ontario, yesterday, technically they're still on yesterday, with the time difference, their Tuesday was the first day back to school. It's our Wednesday. It's their like Tuesday night at 10 p.m. there. So their technical today, our technical yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully all those students that went back, especially elementary school students, had a great first day back. I know there was a lot of confusion going around back in Canada, and I'm wondering how things are going here. Before we start, though, I want to say real quick, we have a message on the message board from April.
Oh.
Hi, April.
Oh, 누나.
April says, I miss you peeps. I like the new hair, Elvis.
Oh, yes.
It's his back to school hair.
Of course, yeah. So
Back to school.
I got ready and
You got your back to school hair. I got my back to school bags under the eyes. It's perfect.
It's perfect.
No.
sad.
Yeah, we are talking about going back to school, and of course, shorter days, cooler nights. Fall has definitely arrived. As E.T. mentioned, it's beautiful weather when you wake up, but a little bit chilly, so do remember to take care of yourself overnight because you don't want to get sick. You don't want to bring anything into the school, especially elementary school, middle school, high schools. They're all cramming upcoming, I want to say midterms are coming soon. which is weird to say, right? If you think about it, but it's October, I think, is when they start doing their midterms. So they're preparing now for their midterms.
Yeah.
Fighting!
Fighting.
Yes. So let's talk about how school life is in different countries. And as always, let's start with the most beautiful in the studio, E.G.
Honor. So in South Korea, specifically middle and high school in South Korea, the academic year begins on March 2nd, which is different from the other Western
Yes.
countries. And the first semester ends in the middle of July, and the second semester starts on the first weekday of September, like the 2nd September or the 1st September,
Right.
and usually ends in mid-February. So for college students, each semester ends a little bit earlier, as you guys know, Frank and Elvis know. So I remember my first day of school was always cold because it was during winter. So it's different from the Western countries. Is it same for any other countries?
When does your school semester start? Are you year-round like Korea, where you're basically March to March, or are you more closer to Canada and the U.S., where you start September and go to end of June?
Before the Corona, there was from January to December
Yeah.
with three terms,
Yeah.
not semesters.
Not semesters.
But now after the Corona, there was a gap between, so they changed the system to September. Right now it's from September.
Oh wow.
If our listeners hurry on over to our channel GFN on NawTube, you can see some 너무 귀엽다 사진 from Korean public school life, which you will see some lovely outfits there, right?
Yeah.
What do you call it? Uniforms, that's the word. Hey, when your brain, I've been out of school so long, listeners,
Oh,
my
yeah.
brain was like, what do you wear to school? Pajamas? Okay. Because in Canada, in my particular schools, in my hometown, there is no uniforms. There has never been a uniform. So
wow.
you can express your individuality
Wow.
however you like. You want to wear purple tights with a red top and a blue skirt? Have at it. People will tell you have no fashion sense.
Wow.
Until
But-
high school?
No, all the way
Oh,
through
all
in
the
my
way through.
hometown.
Oh.
We have no uniforms, so
I can't imagine that.
I
can't.
literally would. Maybe I shouldn't admit this, listeners, but I would literally roll out of bed with whatever was wearing and run across. Because my high school was right across the street from my house,
Oh.
and I'd put on my Birkenstocks with 2 feet of snow, just try and step where other people had stepped. No socks, off to school in my pajamas and.
Wow.
Wow.
공부해, and I still made it. I was a fairly
Yeah.
decent student because I was comfortable.
Yeah.
I could focus on my study, right? 불편한 아니야. 그냥 comfortable. I was good. Shake 'em.
Wow.
But yeah, in Canada we do start in September. We go until the end of June. And now, Frank, you're saying your schools, because of the COVID-19, are starting in September.
Yeah, the
And
system
going
kind
until-
of changed. Yeah.
Until when, though?
For now, I'm not really sure. For high school and university, the systems are different.
Okay.
So to be honest, I've never checked the high school schedule after I graduated from high school. But normally it's from January all the way to December to November.
Oh, that
So we
makes
have
sense.
2
Right.
months for Christmas vacation. And start again in January. That's normally the cycle, but this time it changed really a lot.
A lot if you're
Yeah.
starting in September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. What about Elvis?
Similar to Rwanda, so like in a year we have 3 terms, 3 months school, 1 month holiday. 3 months school, 1 month holiday basically.
Okay.
Although the holiday can vary from 2 to 4 weeks.
1 month holiday.
Yeah, basically.
I had only 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks, 1 month.
Oh.
In
Yeah.
Canada, we have, like, obviously you're off from the end of June, so you have all of August. Oh, you have July, I should say, and August, and then you start after the first weekend in September, I think.
The summer vacation is way longer than the winter vacation.
It's too much. Your winter vacation is like 2 weeks. You have
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, you go to school, then you have Christmas Day all the way to the January 2nd.
And then you have the Easter break.
Yeah, some
In April.
schools will have an Easter break or a March break, usually about a week.
That's good.
You
only
think
have
you're
the
calculating
Christmas.
it. Wait a
Yeah.
minute. But in Korean schools, you get a month off in summer, and almost, if you consider the winter, 겨울 and 봄 vacation together is
Yeah.
almost 2 months.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you get more time off,
So it's been around 3 months.
right?
But I
Yeah.
noticed, like in the United States, they have a day off each month
Oh,
for
yeah, your
some
PD days.
holiday,
Yeah, your PD
and
days.
that kind of, gives you
It
a
does make
break.
it up, right? And also, like in Canada schools, we go 시작 8시 30분. You have to be there, and then your classes start like 8시 40분. But 끝났어요 3시. 네. 유치원 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 학년. In your elementary school, you finish at like 3.
I think similar to Korean.
But high
School.
school is when it's different.
Right, it's different.
High school finishes in Korea at what? 10시?
Oh,
밤?
I think nowadays they finished at like 6.
That's still much later.
So-
I finished at 2:30. 2시 30분.
That's true.
Oh? AM or PM?
Should I go back to high
And that was a
school?
full full schedule. That was a full class like.
Nowadays, like 야간 자율학습. In
Mm.
Korea, we have 야간 자율학습. That's like a self-study time at night at
Oh,
school.
Okay.
But that starts, they used to start from like 6 to and last till about 10 or 11:30 when I was in high school. But nowadays it's optional. So the students can choose whether they want to stay in school or not.
Okay.
So that's why the school time kind of
Reduced.
I'm
Shortened.
laughing because my parents gave me a bedtime of 10 o'clock when I was in high school. On a
Lucky.
school night, it was like 10시 밤,
Mhm.
잠잠. No, your sukje is not done. Tough luck for you, baby. Get up earlier.
But,
어떡하죠?
but I didn't have a time, like a specific time in my maybe elementary school.
Oh.
After school, I had like a personal teacher every day after
Okay.
school. I was school for maybe until 7 or 8 p.m. No rest. Then
In
I had to,
elementary school?
yeah,
초등학교?
yeah. And then I had to do my like self-study at whatever. And I maybe sleep around 11 or maybe 9.
초등학교 나는 잠 시간, my sleep time 7시. If I was really good and I got up in the morning 7시 30분. No, I mean like in summertime it gets dark like 9시
And
or
then when do you-
8시.
When do you get up?
Like 7:30.
Oh.
So that's
12
that's
hours.
12
I need-
hours. The weather, I'm regardless of weather. So at the time, I didn't care if it's raining or it's sunny or if it's cold or hot. Just the same schedule. That's how the school system was.
Oh, wow.
캐나다 고맙습니까? Let's talk about the first day of school. I like it. Let's start with E.T. First day of school.
So on the very first day of school in Korea, every student is assigned to a classroom, 반 in Korean, which lasts for the entire academic year. So once it is set, students cannot change their classroom nor their classmates, but take all classes in that significant room with the same classmates for the year.
Okay.
So like the homeroom system in the United States, each 반 has a designated teacher we call 담임 선생님, 담임, and for each year. And for many teenagers in Korea, the first day has an important meaning in that context. So some may even cry because they are apart from their close friends from the last year.
Right.
And yeah.
I think that's kind of similar, at least in Canada. But your homeroom teacher in the lower grades is responsible for teaching everything, every subject.
Mhm.
사회, 수학, 과학, 영어, 일단 매 한 명 선생님 해요.
That's for 초등학교 though, right?
No, 초등 and June, because in Canada, like especially in where most of Canada, there are some middle schools, but there's no middle school for most parts of Canada, at least in Ontario, right? So up to grade 8, which would be 중, in middle in junhakyo, there's one teacher that teaches almost everything. Sometimes there'll be a specialized teacher, like a science teacher will come in, but usually you're still in the same classroom. You don't move classrooms till you get to high school, and then every class is different with a different teacher
In high school.
in high school. So the first day of high school is more confusing than anything because it's you don't have a home room per se. You have a first class. So I mean, if you have your friends in your class, you're not happy or sad about it, because the very next 50 minutes you'll have a different class. Then you'll have a different class. Then you have a different class with all new people. So, but yeah, I can see you being sad, right? If your best friend is in a different class, or what's it like for Elvis?
Well, in Kenya, the system is totally different, as I said before. So elementary school is 8 years, high school 4 years, right? Elementary school 8 years.
In Kenya?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's similar to Canada.
Yeah, right. So like throughout elementary school, it's like when you change the years, when you start over up to like around the 5th grade, you can come like along with the same people, the same class, the same room teacher. But then from 6th grade, then the teachers specialize in the subjects. Yeah, and then like assignment of classes is based on performance. Yeah, so like in my elementary school, they used to like just put from this overall grading, and then from this position to this position, you bring this maybe like 6th grade south. Then the next one 6th grade north, like that. So
Those are some very cute pictures. Are any of them of you?
no.
I can see small Elvis.
Yeah, I almost thought it was me.
I can see somebody getting a punishment, right?
Yeah,
Cutting grass, right?
yeah, that was normal.
That's the punishment, you have to cut grass?
Yeah, that's the easiest.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the easy. Yeah. Apart from being flogged, that's a good
Oh,
punishment.
whoa.
The
We'll
worst-
get into that later.
The worst was like digging a grave.
Are digging the grave?
Just
Yeah,
made
you
me
have to dig
speechless.
Wow.
a hole as high as your height and as long as your height.
I've never had that kind of punishment. I was trying to behave well at school, so I was only flogged because maybe I got sometimes low scores in maybe
That was,
수학.
that was normal.
Like our 수학 선생님은 약간 시험이 치면 100점 만점에
Yeah.
만약에 2점 떨어졌다, 뭐 98점 맞았으면 2번 맞아야 돼.
Yeah,
네.
yeah.
만약에 50점 맞았으면 50번 맞아야 돼. So I had one teacher like that in my elementary school. So I once got the first score and it was 74.
26.
I was flogged 26 times. 약간 차례대로. 아침에
As a mom, my blood is boiling.
약간 약 먹는 것처럼. 이게 끝내 한 16번 맞아야 된다면 2주일 나눠서 맞을 수도 있어요. 오늘 2개.
I can't find that funny. I'm horrified.
But I made a mistake that day. Like, I just wanted to finish it once for all. So I say 한꺼번에 맞자.
Oh.
So I was about
But I
to die.
can relate because I had one teacher like that in middle school, not in elementary school. But we used to have a lot of teachers like that in Korea because
Right.
you know, like
Yeah.
때리는 거 was kind of common thing, common culture
I can't
in
even.
Korea. But nowadays
imagine that.
it's
I can't even imagine wanting to hurt. Well, I mean, yes, I can imagine wanting to hurt some of my students sometimes when they do things. But I can't even physically like you know, I can't even bring myself sometimes to high five my students because in Canada is a very hands off. There's no hugging. There's no high fiving. There's no zero tolerance. There's no touching of any kind. So to hear about a teacher hitting you because your marks were not low, students learn differently. As a teacher, you know, your students learn differently. What works for one student doesn't work for another. I can't. I'll get myself worked up. Listeners on the radio, unfortunately, sadly, we have come to the end of today's show. If you want to join us, go to NodTube channel GFN right now. We're going to continue a little bit longer. Sadly, though, it's time to say goodbye, guys.
안녕하세요.
Bye bye.
Bye.
잘 지내세요.
Thank you for joining us. Now, earlier in the show, we gave you a quiz, a yes or no quiz. The first journalist who covered and reported on May 18th overseas was actually a Korean. The answer was 동그라미 yes. Coming up tomorrow, we bring you the latest cultural news, and we will have our daily quiz. Suli will be in the studio with me for foodie trends in Korea. And lastly, Gogo will be here to talk about life and family, navigating that road on Juma Talk. You can join us 10:05 a.m. to 11:30 Monday to Friday right here on GFN. Stay tuned for live coronavirus updates from TBS Seoul. Have a great day. We'll meet you back here tomorrow. The last song for our show for today will be this track by Oban. It's called Hori Chum. Continuing the conversation. No. That makes my blood boil. Students, literally, you're having a bad day, you're sick, maybe the question is worded weirdly, or they were looking for something but there's an error in the test, and then hitting a student because they, ooh, I can't even.
But the good thing about that is
How's there anything good about that? I don't understand. People
after
are.
I agree.
after when you I was in my last year of elementary school. We have a like 시험. From elementary school to high school, you have a test like 수능.
Right.
Yeah.
And from middle school to high school, we have another test like 수능 again. And from high school
to
the other one, the
university.
last one. So
Right.
we have three. So in elementary school, to get the best, to get the best school, like middle school,
Right.
the best way is getting the high score. So really, because he flogged us, he made us study a lot, and very many
But
people got
some people
A.
are not motivated by that, and some people cannot retain information if they fear being hit, if they can't memorize it enough.
Yeah.
Some people can't read something and retain it, but you can tell it to them and they'll retain it. And with just hitting someone based on performance, that is not even remotely how real life works.
100%
Yeah.
agree.
Right now, yeah, that's how we can think as
Yeah.
adults. But when you are a kid,
Yeah.
you can think about it.
At
You
that,
just wanna
at that
run-
point, like
get
No,
that's
absolutely.
what was totally our environment. That's what we knew. Like you need to be flogged.
I can't
So-
even imagine. Can you imagine a tiny pair of eyes that trusts you to look and take care of them and guide them, looking up at you and you staring down with a stick being like, well, it's time to beat you. Huzzah!
You just get punished, and the next time you're laughing.
Yeah, you were
together.
laughing. Then
And
after 2 minutes, you
Next
were
time we call
laughing.
you and give you some bread. Oh, go and buy some bread there.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
actually, I have a personal experience of getting hit
Yeah.
because my score kind of dropped from the midterm to final,
Uh-huh.
and I can't forget that moment because it was so embarrassing, because they call you and they the teacher kind of announced how like bad you did in front of all the students, and then they hit you in front of all the classmates, and then that was so embarrassing, and I just hated him.
Right?
Like, seriously.
There are some children who just push back when you hit them. When you use that kind of enforcement to like get results, the only thing they want to do is just to be contrary to you. You're gonna hit me? I don't care. Hit me again. Do it.
Oh,
See if I care.
That's high school. And when you get to high school,
See, in elementary school, students like that too, though.
You
Yeah,
can't.
sure.
Can you?
Sure, but in my country, I think the general environment is like even if you're getting flogged, like it's like you're standing out. It's like you're the hero.
Yeah.
So there is nothing to be ashamed of it. Actually, you don't feel ashamed at all. Yeah.
You know the worst thing
Do
is.
they ask your parents like permission before they do it?
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. They call your parents. They beat you in front of the
Of their
school.
parents.
Oh.
Your own parents.
Your own parents.
If they call them,
Uh-huh.
you're dying.
That's a mistake.
Okay, the reason I ask is because my first son's first day of school, he called me crying, like distraught, because his Korean was not as strong as the rest, and they were playing a game of bingo or something in Korean, and they gave candy to every single person in the class except him, because when he was given his number, he couldn't pronounce it properly. And so they gave everyone else. So, I mean, it wasn't hitting, but it was still that humiliation of in front of the class.
Right.
The teacher was like, why can't you pronounce this?
But that's
And
important.
I'm sorry, but as a mom, I was just like, how come you don't speak 2 languages and he can? How come you can't, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to, like, ruin her authority. But
Nonsense.
it was really hard to just stand back and let.
But let me tell you, Kayla. I personally think that it's maybe you're a mom. Yeah, that's true. I can understand you, but it's simple. Have you ever been flogged because maybe you didn't wear your uniform correctly?
Maybe you didn't tuck in.
No, because here's the thing. You just say, can you please wear your uniform correctly? And if you've been brought up to respect your elders and to do what you're told,
Yeah,
you
sometimes.
say, oh, sorry.
There's
I don't need someone to smash me with a stick to tell me to fix my skirt.
Sorry comes after.
Yeah.
After getting
Or
hit.
sometimes you don't even have to say sorry because you have already received your punishment.
Yeah.
Stick to bite on you, you know, like.
But yeah, that's the system. Sometimes you
It's
have
a
to be flogged.
system, and it's.
I'm so surprised. The system is quite similar to our system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, right?
Yeah.
Do
I
you
like
think
it.
they'll ever get away from that system in your countries?
Well,
Like,
Nowadays, we are.
Nowadays, yeah,
Children
Korea is
not.
like much like higher, like they don't punish at all probably. In Kenya, like right now, right now it's more of a rule like children are not supposed to be punished. Still it happens,
Right.
But at least it's a rule. So
because I think, well, they made that rule in Korea because a couple elementary school students committed suicide after being
Mhm,
like
that's the thing.
beaten. There was a 5-year-old who died after being made to, I think she was 5, made to stand in punishment
yeah.
overnight.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
passed out, fell over, cracked her head, and passed away. So yeah, I mean, like people take it to extremes. Being okay, so like being swatted on the butt or something, as opposed to having your arm broken with a baseball bat because you're
That's true.
happened in a middle school, I think in Seoul or something.
Yeah, but yeah, that what you said is true because there's a limit.
Yeah, there's a limit.
I may say, oh, it's not like that a fight between teachers and students, but it's kind of there's a limit every time. The teacher cannot flog you like, oh, until you die, or like maybe your body
Don't
becomes
think
red.
they wanted to do until he broke his arm either. However,
No. Sometimes because it's in front of everybody,
Yeah.
they also try to make it that don't look bad.
So like as a motivation.
Yeah, as a
I guess.
motivation, because I would say, oh, Elvis was flogged, so I will not disturb in the
So
class.
symbolic action, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
I symbolically am angry on behalf of you.
No, for us, I think after going through it, we don't feel like remorse and guilt at all. Yeah, we feel like it was meant to be.
Oh,
It
I
was
do.
meant to happen.
But wait, last
I
time,
could get behind your digging
Yeah.
or like running or, you know, like cleaning the bathroom or something. I still cannot get behind hitting.
but wait, like the worst thing is if you go to a priest school, that's like military. Because
Uh-huh.
I went to a preschool, it was all boys,
Mm.
no girl. So every punishment was like military, like a soldier's punishment. If you do a mistake, they will send you to maybe collect the firewood.
I'm weak. I'm soft. I'd be the first to die in a zombie apocalypse. Let's just be honest about that.
But after the result is always good.
Yeah.
People who were raised like that, as far as I've seen, even my friends, they are now doing great.
Fair enough. All right, listeners, join us next week for more on What Are You Doing? We'll have lots more discussions. Unfortunately, sadly, the out of fun.
Bye.